Welcome. This is actually part 2. Yeah. This is part 2, not part 3. We did 2 parts yesterday. 1 part wasn't enough, apparently. And if you're back for the second night in a row, you're a glutton for punishment. I appreciate that. Sometimes once isn't enough. Can you hear me out there well? Beautiful. Welcome to the Lab After Dark in the adventures of Huckleberry Tim Road to Ben Hill Part 2, not to be confused with Part 3 or Part 1. It actually is Part 2. Kisser of Dog says, I'm questioning my decisions. Well, join the crowd. Join the crowd. You will be entertained, maybe. You might be. Probably not. Join us as we explore Tim's part 3, my part 2 of The Adventures of Huckleberry Tim. The music's gonna make me throw up. Unfortunately, this took like a little bit of planning, not like a ton, but it actually I had to do a couple of things, and that music was constantly playing. Not that I don't like the music's fine. However, it's ingrained into my head, and I've been having trouble sleeping. Speaking of having trouble sleeping, good luck getting that image out of your head. Welcome to the adventures of Huckleberry Tim. His part 3, my part 2. Yeah, if you only have seen one episode, then that means, folks, that you are on schedule. If you've seen none, then you got to go back and watch the other one. Well, you don't have to. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. And let me get rid of the starting soon. You know, I probably cut the music off a tad early. Bring it back. All right. Hey. All right. God. It's just like, here we go. Part. All right, now we can stop it. Part 3, and it's called Meeting Robin, the Bread Lady. This should be interesting.
It's a train station in Kingsport. This town was made from scratch, pretty much.
Like the rest of the world. But apparently there are some places in the world that have had pre-made cities. We just can't find them, or nobody knows what to do about it. So, scratch it is.
About 1917 was chartered. Kingsport
Part 3, meeting the bread lady.
was known as the model city of the South. The way it was built, it was a different kind of city government used. It was the layout,
Torture chambers and
everything
floggings.
about it was unique. Actually, 2017 had its 100th anniversary. This year is its 200th anniversary. Figure that one out.
Why should we? I don't think that it's on us to figure that out. Just explain it. Nobody knows what the hell that means. Nobody cares either. Although I am watching it, so I'm a hypocrite. But seriously, like, don't say stupid stuff like that. Just tell us what you mean. I'm not here to do math. If it was in 1917, then it would have been 100 years in 2017. I'm confused.
In 5 years.
Okay, so so he takes the time to put this in, and thank God that he did. Kingsport 100th anniversary, 1917. Kingsport. Okay, they had 2 charters. Why don't you just say that? It's such a dick. That pisses me off already. I'm pissed. There's 2 charters. You could have said that.
It's had 2 charters.
No
First
shit.
one was in 1822. Then it all fell apart around the Civil War, and then restarted in 1917.
Fell apart during the Civil War. Yep, like most things, actually. The country was kind of in turmoil. It actually fell apart around the Civil War. I don't really know what happened. The country was thriving and everything was going so well. And we were we had really been doing well, but I just don't know why it fell apart during the Civil War.
And they laid the whole city out. It's called the model city. Has what's called church circle. Everything branches off from that.
I was actually I was actually 14 when the Civil War started, and they told me I couldn't quite have a pistol yet, but they gave me a bayonet, and right before I tried to sit on it one night, an old black feller stopped me. And that's when I decided that racism was for the birds. I mean, we still treat people different, but outwardly, we can pretend.
But this is a train station. It's pretty neat.
It's like every other train station that's ever been.
Been up in that clock tower.
I had my sniper rifle. Oh my God. But I did the rifle. I laid the rifle down and I kept the scope on, and I was just looking at all the the wee little peoples down below, the steeple, the people, and then the church inside. There's what is it? The sheeple.
Got one mechanism, runs all 4 clocks. This is about
I'm struggling. I'm already struggling.
This
is going to be bad.
3rd piece.
Inevitably, I'm going to say something that's just going to be like, Josh, like I did last night. Remember, loads of men.
How I got on the Summer Wells journey. It was first was the paper, second was the parade,
third was the baby in the baby carriage,
and then later into the fun fest.
Tina King wants to know, what is he doing? No effing clue.
There was lots and lots of things that different families can do, but one of them was what was called bread making.
When I think of Fun Fest, I think of bread making.
You could learn how to make bread.
Sounds fun to me.
And it was going to be at the Seventh-day Adventist church.
No offense to anybody that's ever attended a bread making event, but I've never scrolled Facebook and seen that there was a bread making event, nor would I probably look into it. I do not believe I would look into the bread making event.
And so on that day, I'd done various things, but I went to that function. Then there was another big one about the same time, but I wanted to do that because bread making sounded unique for the news and for the city to have.
Yeah, super unique and super super interesting. What was it? Dragging Canoe. He used to make his own bread. We didn't like it though. He put pumpkin spice in it year round. It wasn't just a fall thing. It was a year round thing. That's where Dragging Canoe and I and Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone and Willie the Whale, Fred Flintstone, we just couldn't abide by that.
And so,
oh my God, look at that bread making event. Oh man, that's oh my God.
I went to the Seventh-day Adventist, went inside to start photographing.
Can you imagine? These wonderful people who are just there to learn how to make some bread, and then this guy walks through the door with a camera and starts filming and getting in your face with pictures.
And how do you say it? Lo and behold, there was that other woman walking with Candace in the parade.
So I'll be serious for just 1 second. Do you think that there's a chance in hell that he didn't know that Robin was going to be front and center at the bread making event? It just so happened that he knew that, or he didn't know that. It was just by happenstance. I didn't know she was going to be at the bread event. The bread event. Who knew that she was going to be at the bread event? The bread event. Da 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 da.
And
the bread event. So basically, what he did was he probably searched this out. And he's like, "I'm going to the bread event because there's no way, Tim, you little weasel. There's no way that you thought that it would be interesting for the news and the city for you to cover a bread making event at the Seventh-day Adventist Church on a Saturday." Okay, not buying that.
she introduced herself as Robin. And that was really my...
I don't know who that guy is, but he looks like he's having some fun and that he's ate some bread.
second meeting. We talked just a little, talked about the parade. Can't remember really much of what we
He actually sucks at taking pictures. I'm not any good at it either, though.
said.
Oh my God. Like, Tim, what the hell?
But got a lot of footage. And I remember
It's not footage that you're just taking pictures of people.
I was hungry. I commented, bad place to come when you're hungry bread making and you got to wait for them to make it.
Well, that is indicative of the name itself. Bread, it's not a bread event. Like the bread's not already done. It's not like a bake sale. Bread making, you're probably going to want to get down a protein bar, maybe some muscle milk on the way there, Tim. A couple heaters to curb the appetite because you're going to have to make the bread. Now, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I don't know what it is that I don't know. I don't know.
Cook it. And making it hungry. I commented, bad place to come when you're hungry bread making and you got to wait for them to make it and cook it. And I had to take off to go down to another function, some big outdoor shindig dance, wahoo. And if I
Tim had plans to go to a hoedown.
remember right, I think maybe I'd left. Maybe they'd offered. They said we could make a loaf if you would like one. And
I've really noticed that when he tells these stories, that he's never quite sure how they happened or originated, nor can he remember, but he can remember everything else back to dragging canoe, the Civil War, slavery, evolution, creation, and the Big Bang. Apparently he was around when Ben-Hur was number one in racing, but this he doesn't remember.
I gave him my number. And so while I am at the shindig, and it was a big outdoors.
Like, no offense to those people that are there. That looks like the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen something and been like, man, I want to go to sleep. But I'm looking at that and I want to go to sleep. It's making me tired just looking at it. Looks like an exhausting event. Looks like first of all, it looks like a lot of work. Bread is good, but it's not that good, right? It's not that good.
First thing, I did get a text that said, "Got some bread ready."
Got some bread ready. What? Got a text. I never got a text before that said I got bread. One time somebody sent me, said I got a bun in the oven, but I knew that couldn't have been my loaf because, well, I've been a virgin since 1921. And it's actually the turn of the century, be 100 years, two years ago. But it'll be 200 years, 5 years from now.
We're getting ready. I did get a text that said, "Got some bread."
You never got one of those texts that said it's a bun in the oven. I love a bun in the oven. Take my good hand.
Bread ready. We're getting ready to leave here. I can drop it off somewhere.
Oh, so I just got somebody's random number at the bread event, and they said, we will surely give you a text. Sire, we'll give you a text. All right. When your bread is ready, sir.
And I thought, well, that's like kind beyond measure. And it was actually Robin that texted.
Oh my goodness. It was Robin out of everybody that could have been at the bread event. She was just a patron there. She wasn't even the leader of it. But for some reason, it just so happened that when I was at that event and there was two ladies holding a banner and one of them was the mother of a missing child. The mother. I knew that lady somehow, some way was into bread.
And I thought, well, gosh, if they're going out of the way to make me a bread, I should at least go by and pick it up.
Oh, but the generosity doesn't escape me, my dears.
So headed that way.
I'm on my way to get my bread. What am I doing with my life?
And got there just in the nick of time. They were just finishing up in the kitchen cleaning, and Robin, another lady, children.
One of the old fellas was waiting for his wife to get done, and they was playing pool, and They hit the cue ball corner pocket, hit him right in the nutsack, and he pissed all over the floor. So I helped clean it up with my bare hands.
They had made a plate of this bread already buttered and warmed and cut, and it was like, oh yeah. So
You know what they say? Just because there's bread or bun in the oven doesn't mean you need to butter it.
they had a little drive-in window like at the church, so I was outside. So they opened up the window, and I got to enjoy a little bread snack.
It was like a little baby bird. I was asking the children if I could feed them from like a mother bird does, because I've always wanted to bear children. It's one of the many things that has escaped me, to be a mother. Dear diary, I was once a mother. Dear diary, dear diary, dear diary, should I have a diary? I'm a 21-year-old boy. I shouldn't have a diary.
And real nice.
A bread snack.
People. They all seemed very nice there. Everybody I've met at that church seems very nice. And then they gave me my loaf of bread.
Give me my loaf. I'm coming for my bread.
And I headed on back. Finished up what I was doing, and I mean it was pretty late by then in the evening, and pretty well that ended the day by then in the evening. And
there's the bread that they made in the bag. Look at that bun. It is all good. Look at that. Just nice and plump like Fun Fest 21. Stamped bread in the bag. Bread making. June 19th, 2021. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that day. It was a day that will go down in infamy. Ooh, I'm here to get my bread.
Pretty well that ended the day with that night.
I mean, there's no other way to end a Fun Fest after picking up and having a bread snack.
Treat. Ooh. And that's how I met Robin the second time. I've been in that church once before years ago. I went for something.
It was an exorcism. My folks at the time, they were worried because I would play Blink 182 over and over and over. And I'd sing the song, "What's my age again? What's my age again?" And then they go, you're 57 years old. You got to get the hell out of the room, or we're going to take you to a church and have an exorcism formed on you.
They were having some interesting seminar or something. And that was long time ago.
Yeah, it's called lobotomy.
So this is the first time I'd been back up there. And like I said, everybody there was extremely nice.
And the clocks that I had to look at on the wall, they actually never moved, but they just went tick, 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 tick.
And thoughtful, of course.
Of course.
So, when I forgot her name, I would just call her the bread lady.
I happened to forget the lady's name that I bumped into twice, just really back to back, but I knew. At first, I called her the poster lady that was friends with the mother of the missing girl, but that was too long to write in my journal. So then, what I did was, I remembered that she made me some bread, and so I made her name the bread lady, because it was more fitting than the lady that was holding the banner next to the mother of the missing girl.
Thoughtful, of course. So, when I forgot her name, I would just call her the bread lady. So for a long time, she was the bread lady, or not a long time. Until I finally remembered, oh, it's Robin, but the bread lady.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And very nice. And I don't think it was long right after that I don't know, made some contact, something about the case. I can't remember exactly, but got to go up to the park. She was at the park with her family, so I got to go up and meet her husband.
So there was a third meeting that nobody knew about. And he got to go meet her husband. Basically, the way that the third did he say how the third meeting happened?
And I can't remember exactly. Made some
Once again,
contact, something about
this whole he never knows how he ends up there. He just ends up
something
there.
about the cat, and very nice. And I don't think it was long right after that. I don't know, made some contact, something about the case. I can't remember exactly, but got to go up to the park. She was at the park with her family, so I got to go up and meet her husband. And
he was a stud muffin if I had ever seen one. Just big, rippling, muscly arms. Be perfect paper boy.
To know him, real nice people. He's nice, solid guy, very solid, and
very solid and thick and lustrous. He's got the build of an Adonis.
So that was not long after that. I can't remember the exact order of how those events happened, but it was good to meet him.
It went the Hindenburg, 9/11, and then that day. That was the order of events.
And the bread was delicious. And Robin was friendly from day one and continues to be.
Oh, wait. No, please come back, Pat. Please come back. Please come back. I'm begging you. Where you go? Bye.
Be that way. Church is very nice. When I've seen other people, oh, that's what it was. It was a church. They were having a church picnic, and I think there was like an invite or something like that, or if you want to come by or something. I can't remember.
Well, actually, what I was doing was I was just hanging out in the bushes, and they saw me, and they said, "Tim, would you like to come and hang out?" And I jumped up out of there, put my trousers on.
And I was in the area photographing and thought, oh, well, yeah, I should zoom by because I definitely wanted to meet her husband. And then that was just a little bit of time, just a little after the bread. Fun Fest was over at the end of that week. That was there in July. And that is around the time I started listening to, I think I came across the YouTube.
The YouTube. Forget Me Not gifted 5 Lab After Dark memberships. Thank you so much for doing that. And welcome all new members.
It was the interview room.
Not the interview room. That rat bastard.
I think that was the first thing I heard. I have my own thoughts on that, which I thought that was excellent at the time, until he came to a certain spot, and I could tell when he said what he said.
The certain spot is hilarious, by the way. The one thing that sets him off is funny.
That it just was going to probably cause all sorts of bad stuff. And I wished he hadn't gone that way.
I'm shocked.
But other than that, the interviews were both very good and very helpful to be able to see.
It was very helpful to see inside their house without me having to peek in on my own. Usually I get in trouble for that and put on some sort of hold, but it was nice to see the inside, get the layout of the house. But I don't know, maybe I had already seen it at some time. I'm not sure. Maybe I had seen it. You know who I'm really jealous of is that McDonald getting inside that house. Oh, you son of a bitch.
To see Candace, get to see, hear, listen to her, see the home.
Feel the home, be the home. Home, home, home on the range.
Uh, I know people were like shocked with the home, but they don't know this area. You can drive down Beach Creek and see all sorts of homes.
Just like any other residential road or holler or whatever it is that you call it. Typically, there's roads, and on sides of those roads, if they're not freeways, and sometimes even in those duplexes that they do make them on the side of the freeway now, but you will see roads if you drive down the street.
Uh, that a lot of people may not like to keep their home that way, but that wasn't really the point to me. When I saw it, it was like, that didn't bother me.
Yeah, my dog took a shit right in the middle of the living room the other day, and I haven't cleaned it up. I'm gonna wait for it to dry out, and then I'll vacuum it right up. Yeah, by that time, it's just so much easier to clean.
Um, However, I'll discuss that. I'll discuss that another time. I'll just put it this way. Sometimes somebody has a skill set that's not made to be used publicly. And when it's used publicly, its flaws show real fast of why it was never made to be a public skill set. It was always made to be a private skill set.
Sometimes I just say things, and hopefully people listen, but it's gonna take you a while to figure that out. But mostly, it doesn't make any sense.
But there's learning curves. Unfortunately, a lot of people got hurt in this certain learning curve. And it continues to resonate. So, it was the news. It was the parade. And it was making bread and meeting Robin, meeting her family, meeting her church family. So these were the initial pieces that were slowly.
What's up, Muscles? Says that is not normal, Tim. We don't live that way here either. My house is safe and tidy, so F off with that excuse. Yeah, Tim.
Drawing me closer to this whole case and this situation. It had already touched my heart. Just watching.
One time I spilled it was an aquarium, I believe. It was an aquarium on the train tracks. My goldfish fell down there, and I had to save it before the cargo train pulling a bunch of, I think it was a bunch of old Daniel Boone stuff that we got all kinds of it. DB stuff for sale. Dragon canoe, not so much.
The banner in the parade.
See, that's the kind of stuff that he does. Because he knows that there was like a red truck, and he does that kind of stuff on purpose because he's a loser. It's an awful. That was absolutely painful. Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna need you to strap in for this one, folks. Okay, oh my god, it's already bad. Yeah, I've got a special set of skills, and I'll stab you. Um, Okay, so we gotta. This son of a gun is 37 minutes long, but we're gonna be able. We're gonna handle. I think this is the one where he just goes after McDonough. So that should be fun. That lion cheat, that scallywag. He's a slimy pirate if there ever was one. He was probably on Dragon Canoe's side. I could already see it. His great 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 grandfather probably hung out with the Cherokee, and the Cherokee had the best land. They just did. But they soon learned to conform. Yes, conform. Yes. I get so mad when Tim, E.T., wait, what? Says like that. My mother taught, oh, okay, I got you here. Taught elementary school all over the Midwest and always said that poverty does not preclude good parenting, love, cleanliness, etc. are free. That's 100% true. I mean, that it was a big stretch to try and make that um that leap. That's what it was a leap. It was a big leap. Project data, client name, Tim Mullen, date, February 24th, 2022. Here I am in another public place where nobody asked me to be. I'm just walking around with the camera. The other day, a guy threatened to flick me in my Adam's apple if I pointed the camera at him one time. So I would try to turn it off when people see me coming. It's just kind of one of those crosses I have to bear.
I like this place.
But this place don't like me.
It's her 50th anniversary. Yeah, this is up near the area we were seeing on the other side on a different one of these when looking at Bays Mountain. That ridge in front of us, we were on the other side of that. We're now here. Okay, it's easier to talk. A lot of people up here today. I thought it would be emptier, but gorgeous day. So there's a whole lot more up here. It's packed actually, but it's so big, maybe we won't see a lot of people. You know, we went from the news to the Fun Fest parade, meeting Candace and the banner. Went to photograph the making bread, and
I don't know. I'm not sure how many. Probably like 4,000 or so, something like that.
met the other lady that was with Candace, and that turned out to be Robin. Touched on a few things there. One of the things we touched on was the next step of what I had come across in this journey of summer wells. Somehow, and I do not remember how, might have just popped up on a Google search. And that was The YouTubers.
Mm. Those blasted YouTubers. Yeah, yeah, it's the Latin thing. I just was reading it fast, and I'm not that smart. Sorry, but yeah, I got it now.
And the various different quote shows.
There's so many people here. Usually, it's just me sitting in the middle of a room with no furniture, just looking at an invisible clock. Tick tock.
But the first one was
He could, but
somewhere in there was Chris. I can't remember now who was first, who I heard first. If I just heard one of the others, or if I heard Mr. McDonough, because it was somewhere during this time frame of YouTubings, and then hearing I think Don say that people told him to just get quiet, not say anything, stay off YouTube, basically lock yourself in your room and be quiet.
that's what my parents did to me. So, but what I don't understand. Yeah, and he's done such a great job of that going forward, and even to this day, he's really, really heeded those.
And I remember thinking then that they'd go insane not having some way to communicate. And way in the back of my mind was the thought of a website.
Oh yeah, it was so far back, yet I had already started it.
Where they could just put whatever they wanted to put, anything that came to mind, any picture, anything, just to have a place to release their thoughts during such a horrible, traumatic thing. And so somewhere in there, that idea first started trickling a little bit, but I do know I was working in the woods. We'd had a lot of trees cut down because the little bug that came and killed all the ash trees. And this area's been saturated thousands. And I think we took down 10 in that one spot. So I'm cutting wood listening.
Yeah, he did.
To the Youtubians. And it was very, 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 very quickly apparent to me of how Don was being utilized.
Look at that dog walking with his owner. I love dogs.
But I guess I will discuss
puppies mostly.
Chris McDonough's because that was a key.
It was first it was Chris, then it was Mr. McDonough, now Mr. McDonough, and now it's McDonough's.
2 key interviews there that started out with such potential, but they also influenced me because I saw better what this family was up against.
This river that you're looking at right here is the river that my folks brought me down to one day, and I had to poop real bad before we left the house, and they said you could just go in the river, and I did. You're looking at the river that I pooped in that day many, many years ago, 1941, and it's right around the time Germany invaded Poland.
I knew mainline media, and it didn't take long listening to the YouTube people that, I mean, they were very inexperienced and were not aware of what their little bit of influence and power could do to human beings.
Some of us are very aware. Very, very aware.
But I also knew that the mainline media would make the YouTubers look like, you know, well, let's just say the mainline was a forest. The YouTubers were a little stick. And
A little stick. So weird.
I saw what they were doing, and I
Hell was
thought,
that?
man, the main media would kill them.
Oh, they would.
Absolutely kill Don and them. Because
Absolutely.
it is the entertainment industry.
It is.
Okay. It really is.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean that all mainline news people are bad. It just means the system's built as an entertainment system based on advertising.
But I digress.
And here comes a call. It's Candace. Well, that was interesting. It was not her. It was some kind of hack computer, who knows what, using her number.
What? What? What was that? It was Candace calling, but it was her number, but it was a hack, computer hack. What does that mean? What do you mean? I gotta hear that again.
It was not her. And here comes a call. It's Candace. Well, that was interesting. It was not her. It was some kind of hack computer, who knows what, using her number. But we're used to those sorts of things.
What do you mean you're used to those sorts of things? You get a lot of prank calls. You get a lot of prank calls, huh?
I think I was talking about.
One time somebody called me on the phone and they said, "Hey, is your refrigerator running?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "Well, you best go catch it, boy." And I hung up that phone and ran to the kitchen, and my refrigerator was sitting right there.
I know these videos just are absolute
Garbage.
brilliant entertainment feasts as I talk, but it's a little too crowded up here, so it's slowed me down. We were discussing Mr. McDonough.
It's McDonough. McDonough.
Public figure gets to be spoken about publicly.
Oh, nice. Public figure gets to be spoken about publicly. You hear that, McDonough? You rat bastard. I'm going to speak about you publicly because you're a public figure.
They'll play.
There is no one there. Tim thinks that the park's full of people. It's just, I do believe that he does see people, though.
I have nothing against,
but not actual people.
The man, he's probably a great guy.
He's a great guy.
My personal opinion, though, is this, and I think I said it the other day, and that is that people who have skill sets that were made for private conference rooms at police stations.
And right there, I slid in right there at the bottom. I did the picture in picture. That right there is a room, not necessarily investigation room, but it's a room with chairs and a whiteboard. And you could do a lot of cool things in there. You can even turn off the lights and shut the door. Keep out the devil.
That's kind of where those skill sets are made for. So there you can say your own thoughts, your own opinions, and it's okay because that's what you have to do in a case. You got to discuss every angle.
Are you listening, McDonough? This is how a case is to be done, sir. It's okay to do it that way, but the way that you do it's not okay. This is how a case is supposed to be ran.
Every little nudge, every little intuition, every, the experience of all your rodeos that you've been in.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Not his first rodeo. We all know that that's a tagline of Chris. Shots fired at the Youtubian. Ooh, he talking trash. He talking trash. You know, I mean, just that was harsh. That was so rough. It's not his first rodeo. It's a good one. Very, 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 very clever.
However, when you bring that skill set out into the public arena,
That's true. It is.
and
I'm not even BSing. Tennessee is a beautiful state.
start saying those things,
Oh, he's chasing those people.
it is brutal. Because to you, you're just giving an opinion, but your viewers are like sheep, and many of them are like wolves, and they hear what you just said, and it's like a napalm bomb.
It's like a napalm bomb.
You can look that up. I may have said it wrong.
This is what we call a piece of driftwood. It's probably been soaking in the water for 35 years. One day I'll come out here and whittle a table. Take it back. I'll put it on my back and carry it all the way.
And that's what happens. Your skill set suddenly is absolutely out of place and wreaks havoc, like any skill set will do when it's out of place, but especially when you take a behind the scenes quiet conference room, case investigators.
And for your convenience, again, I have put up a conference room. Right there, if you look real close and zoom in, you can see the formula for making a Twix candy bar. Those are my favorite. I'm addicted to chocolate. I love chocolate with bread. I'm coming to get my bread.
Matter, I mean, they've 40, 50 years of experience. It's awesome in its right place. It wasn't made for public. It wasn't made for YouTube. Now, that doesn't mean you can't talk about a case and the situation. It's just you can't start dishing out rumor, imagination, instinct.
You know, kind of like the bullshit I write about CPS on the findsummerwells.com and the Find Summer Wells Facebook page. Ah, why would I ever make up anything? You shouldn't either.
Intuitions. And that's what went crooked with Mr. McDonald. And he did it. I spotted it immediately. He was,
Because I got that. I spotted it immediately. You can't get nothing past me. You throw something to the side of me and I catch it like a cat.
was doing great on his interviews until he asked about the shed.
Oh, the shed. The shed. Oh my God. Jackie, they're not hidden. The shed.
He was doing great on his interview.
What pisses Don Wells off most for 1,000, Alex? What is the shed? Ding, ding, ding. Dinner's done.
And that's what went.
Yeah. You blew it, Mr. McDonough. You blew it. You blew it with the shed comment, sir. The shed. The shed, not the shed.
That's what went crooked with instinct. It's just you can't start dishing out rumor, imagination, instinct, intuitions. And that's what went crooked with Mr. McDonald. And he did it. I spotted it immediately. He was doing great on his interviews.
You hear that, Chris? You did great on your interviews, bud. Good job. It must make you feel good to know that you have the Tim Mullen Media stamp of approval. Now you can sleep good at night. Tim, go screw yourself, you dick.
Until he asked
Chris would never talk that way. I do, though. But when I do my, you got
about
some bread there, boy? Some bread? Did you meet Robin at a bread making place?
the shed, and it's like he was offended
Who's in the sheds?
because
Who's in the sheds, bud?
Candace wouldn't let him go to the shed.
Get him, buddies. Who's in the sheds? Donny's in there? Is Donny in there? Who's in the sheds?
And
Somebody said, Sylvia K says, it's apparent that there's more to this shed stuff. I agree.
And I saw right then, I said, the man has stepped out of just an interviewer, and he's in his investigators skill set that's only for an investigator that's actually on the case, not on a guest at someone's house.
Ooh, burn.
For him to get upset not getting to see that shed would be like me going to visit someone and then
see, now that's just a lie, because he didn't get upset about it.
Immediately saying, I want to go upstairs and look in your closet.
That's what you would say, Tim. Not nobody else says shit like that. There was a shed right there.
I want to see what's in your closet. I mean, that is rude maximum.
It is rude maximum. Maximus Prime. That is rude prime. Maximus Prime. Rude. Rude. Maximus Prime. Rude.
Now, I don't know if he meant that. I just think he tipped over back into his, amazing skills.
His amazing skills. Yeah, I got skills, Budge. I got some skills. I'll kick you in the nuts. How's that?
But in the wrong place.
Oh.
And
want to see my skills, huh? Taekwondo. That's right. Taekwondo. I learned it in Japan. Okinawa.
Second he did that, he ignited the question mark.
Of what? That he was in the shed? Nobody, was he in the shed?
But this question mark is full of gasoline.
It's not full of gasoline, Budge. It's propane.
And so now everybody listening suspects. I mean, who really cares? I'm going to be straight. Who cares if Don was in that shed or not? It's his house.
Totally fine. I agree with you that it would be weird, but he's hid in a shed before. Don was definitely in the I'm going to say that by this reaction, I'm going to just assume that he was in the shed. He's in the shed. In the shed. In the shed. He was in the shed. He was in the shed. Was he in the shed? Who cares if he was in the shed? He has every right to be in the shed. He's allowed to be in the shed. That's his shed. Because it's only normal for people to hang out in their sheds. He was just hanging out and doing some work in that shed. He was in the shed. In the shed. In the shed. Oh, I'm hanging in the shed.
He has a perfect right not to talk to some stranger if he doesn't want to.
Except you, because, you literally showed up at his house too.
That's not devious or horrible. So it was way out of line.
Way out of line. Way out of line, Mr. McDonald. What are you talking about? Mullen said I didn't do anything. You got upset about the shed. Oh, no, I didn't. Didn't care about the sheds. I just asked her, can I look in the shed? She said, and I said, okay. No, I respect that. I respect that.
And there's where it collapsed. Unfortunately, it couldn't be repaired. And unfortunately,
the shed was the final straw. Everything else could have been forgave, but the shed.
Instead of just letting it drift by or him coming on saying, hey, I shouldn't have done that, he fed it in his analysis, and it began to grow, and then it was unfixable. It immediately made everybody guilty.
How does him hiding in the shed make them guilty?
Devious and secret, and everybody having to use their cliches, and But I'll say another thing. Who cares if I say it? But I'll say.
Not me, but go ahead.
Speaking of cliche lines, another point. If I remember correctly, in one of those interviews.
But you don't remember many things correctly, Tim. Your journey has been a lot of you not remembering who met what and where met who. Mostly it's just you recalling the littlest bit of detail. Not right. Wikipedia. Oh, dang. Strapping. That all right.
I heard Mr. McDonald begin to express about how his child, maybe a daughter, I don't know. I think he said he was in the house and he saw a van or something pull up, and they were basically, or some vehicle to try to kidnap his own daughter.
Josh, do you remember a story about the bread falling off the truck and they scooped it up and gave it to Candace? I think I saw something like that, but not well. But yeah. Yeah. What's up, gambler? No, only Donny boy is allowed. Yeah, he's only allowed in the shed. I do remember something like that. He's 107. And let's be fair, Muscles. I mean, we're not all, in incredible shape, even though we should be. We can't all be shaped like a bag of milk. Tim's shaped like a skeleton, really.
And he ran out like a man would do to cook the guy's goose fast.
Let's go back here.
Or some vehicle to try to kidnap his own daughter. And he ran out like a man would do to cook the guy's goose fast. The guy got away. And from then on, if I remember right, I think he said that was an inspiration for him and where this career would be. That was one of those moments in life that happens that triggers, your destiny per se. It gives the inspiration for what will be there, and the skill set you choose to perfect and utilize to help people. And I heard him tell that. And by that point, he was already biting Don Wells pretty hard.
Only I'm allowed to bite Don Wells pretty hard. Me and Candace alone. Sorry.
And I have to pause just a momento, please.
All right. I had to go take a dump and I accidentally wiped with poison ivy. It'll be a rough couple of days. My apple bag has never burned so bad.
Okay. I'll pause when there's some people.
There's nobody there.
Well, the fire was already done, and Mr. McDonald was already.
Oh, there's some people. Oh, there's people.
Well, against Don.
Oh, a whole family of them is like raccoons. You accidentally find them.
My first thought. This was my first quick thought. I'll just get to it. For some reason, Don represented that man that tried to steal Mr. McDonald's child.
What? Why would he represent that man? I just find that to be such a stretch and such a ridiculous thing. So that's why you think that Chris said that he was in the shed because because of what? Yeah, oh my God.
which is totally understandable. I think from that moment on, however that works in the mind of a man who's been through a traumatic thing himself. But when others started calling in and telling their stories, he was too quick to believe every word they said and too quick to negate anything that Don Wells said. And it would balanced it all. You know, investigator, everything's on equal terms. You don't just yield to somebody who just suddenly calls in and says, "Yeah, he did this." I know there was a bunch of
So that's him discounting the victims of Dawn's that have come forward.
history.
I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't expect anything less from the best friend of a racist, misogynist, unregistered sex offender.
In rodeos and all that kind of stuff, but still, unless you're an investigator on a job, you don't turn the public loose on somebody for a lynching. That's extremely unprofessional and dangerous, just humanly speaking, because Mr. McDonald really has no clue really what's gone on in Don's life. He's got some instincts, he's got some stuff, but you can't judge a man on a couple stories. You got to have all the stories.
Well, let's see. You can't judge a man on a story. Well, I can think of one story in particular with OJ. That's really all I really need from him. I don't know anything. I don't know everything about Bundy, but I know a couple stories about him. And let's see who else. Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein. What else? Who else can we judge? Timothy McVeigh. Never heard of that guy before the Oklahoma City bombing.
And there's plenty there that he doesn't know about.
The one time he nursed a baby deer back to health with a bottle of formula. It was abandoned by its mother. Mr. McDonough doesn't know anything about that.
Don's life, things that happened.
If he would have known, and what he would do is he'd take the milk and he'd swirl it on his nipple and let the deer feed from it like it was his own mother. Mr. McDonough doesn't know about that. Oh my God.
Don, all that. So there's many factors that make someone behave or say certain things, or on it goes. And the other thing about that is you're exposing not just the man when you're biased, it's family.
In this series, I've used the terms tender and exposed. Also, loads of men.
It's family history. It's part family that's really nice. It doesn't want all this blasted out when it's not the real law enforcement doing it. When there's not a case yet, when there's not a suspect arrested or anything. And that doesn't even count that he has. I'm going with it that Summer's alive. He'll have 4 teenagers. Don.
Oh, you're just gonna go with that? You're just gonna just throw that in there? I'm just gonna go with it. Summer's alive. That was a lot of conviction in that. You know, like and like I said, I don't want to talk about the case per se. But that, I mean, to me, that was really strange. Like he said a lot of really strange stuff, but that was very strange to me. That's weird.
Will 3 boys and 1 girl.
Roxy, good night.
Who are all going to be trying to figure out what all this was about and not go crazy themselves or not become vindictive, vendettas, whatever V word, on getting even with the people.
Vagabond, vultures, violent, vigilant, vig. Learn that one on The Sopranos.
That treated their family so rotten and caused them so much heartache, especially if it turns out that it has nothing to do with Don and Candace, this case.
Yeah, Tim, how about we take a look at their arrest reports and court records that gives us a pretty big clue. One of the biggest clues. I'm completely with you on that. I don't know what the deal is. Everybody else is wrong.
Wolf is still snacking.
What? Ventriloquist. That's a good one. I didn't even think of that one. Hi, Lisa. Ventriloquist. Oh, definitely not. Blue Eye Dumpling says, good night, everyone. Finish in the morning. Good night. Exactly. Wolf is.
If they really are innocent.
Wolf is still snacking.
Wolf is still snacking.
Some creepy stuff, dude.
If they really are innocent of this case.
It's still hungry, Tim. You can hop in the cage if you'd like. Wolf is still snacking.
You know, SA is the big thing to say. Say.
Wow, dude. Oh, wow. Can you believe that? Holy crap. SA. Sa. Holy jeez. Wow.
You know, SA is
honestly, like, that's so. It's messed up, dude. It's really messed up to just even whatever.
If they really are innocent of this case.
Looking Beyond says, I want to get his opinion on Don stealing those red bloomers. Well, here you go, right here.
You know, SA is the big thing to say.
The big thing, sa. What the hell?
Has
anybody ever heard it? Has anybody ever heard somebody say that before? What he just said, the sa say. Has anybody ever heard? I've never heard somebody do that before, ever in my life. I'm just wondering, is that something that people do? I've never heard it. Never one time. It's almost like he's mocked it, like that he's mocked it before. Like that's how he mocks. I've never heard that. Sa, say is what he said.
You know, if they really are innocent of this case. You know, SA is the big thing to say. Sa, say. You know, it's
oh man.
Speculation. Total speculation. Just fine. In the privacy of an investigator's office and consultation rooms and conference rooms. And
so basically he doesn't want anybody to know anything about people. Okay. It was very much mocking. He was mocking that.
but absolutely out of its place on social media, on YouTube.
Sandra says, I died, idiot, 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 I died, idiot.
And I've not just seen
Timmy.
it in him, I've seen it in others. And I totally respect these men. I respect law enforcement maximum.
Maximum. It's inappropriate. Maximum.
Totally respect. But I have seen others. And that emotional aspect
They're probably in Pig Latin, Jackie.
that they never had to tame in a conference room, hardly.
Country Girl says, Tim, go butter your bread and hush.
They don't have it online. And it's
hey, Rogue.
Unfortunately, when it's exposed, it's huge damage to other people.
Not just big damage, but huge, huge damage.
And it inspires those of lesser caliber or experience. It feeds their feeds their dopamine fix.
So instead of getting that Coke, you can do that.
Because most of the reason people like this stuff is because it does give a fix.
That's why people watch TV. That's why people do anything. It's not a fix. It's like, it's what you're interested in. It piques your curiosity. It gets your biorhythms going. It's not a dopamine fix. And everybody goes, it's not like that. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever.
It's a emotional dopamine fix, which is a thrill, which is addicting. It's addictive. That's why crime stories are so exciting. It gives a fix in a boring world or a crazy world.
So is it boring or is it crazy?
And it's like
I'm guessing that you have a crazy, boring life.
Anything that inspires dopamine, it can become addictive.
What?
And when you have somebody of the experience and caliber as Mr. McDonald suddenly become gossip and rumors and thoughts of.
And I put those two words up so you remember those. And don't ever forget them. Gossip and rumors.
Imagination. And he'll destroy one man with words, but he'll believe a woman who comes up with, and I should rephrase that, not believe, but allow a woman that comes up with outright horrendous imaginations of how Summer was daily being abused in a shed, and he won't put a stop to it, but just allows it to be said, acting as if he's just the interviewer.
People are allowed to talk and say things out loud just the same way. Tim, I'm going to get serious here for a second. Just for a second. So allowed sounds like people are allowed to have an opinion or thoughts, or whether you like them or not, whether they're flattering or not. It's unfortunate. I don't like when people say bad things about me. I never have. Nobody does. Nobody is comfortable with it. And, but come on. You're allowed to say whatever you want. I mean, this is America. You can speculate. Is it always right to do so? No. Is it always helpful? No. But everybody does it. Yeah, a man allows a woman. That's kind of what I was getting from that too. He'll believe a man, but a woman. Or he won't believe a man, but a woman. Oh.
But not stopping it. No conception of what that does to families.
None.
When you're living in hell every night because you don't know what's happening to your daughter, and you've got to hear stuff like that, and people are believing it, and then the sun sets, and then you start thinking, what if that's what's happening to her? when there's no proof, no vindication, just total crazy rumor.
You guys are the one that talk about that. Don was the one that's talked about that too. Don talks about that, okay? All the time. You talk about that all the time. I've seen you post it on the Find Summer Wells page. So you can seriously frig right off with your projecting on others.
The guy that lets it be played and doesn't stop it, he's responsible.
No, he's not. He's not. People are allowed. No, responsible. I mean, seriously, dude. Have you met Don?
And so, yes, I hold Mr. McDonald completely responsible for some horrendous things that were done. Horrendous things.
Josh, have you ever asked Chris what he thinks about Tim? I have. I certainly have.
Things that hurt people. And it's not
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
not really fixable. I mean, he could fix it himself with apologies.
We deserve them apologies.
Bad learning curve. Hope it's a learning curve. Hope he's realized, oops.
Oops, I did it again. Hey, Chris, did you learn anything from all this? Have you learned, Chris? Yes, scallywag.
But you don't do that. You don't allow insane imaginations. Not that the person's insane, but the imagination that goes.
Well, this is just a perfect segue. I'm so angry right now. I'm angry for Mary. I'm angry for Jeannie. I'm angry for 5 other women. I will it's taken a little bit of time, but there was some editing that had to go on at the police station. So you're hearing it first. The tentative date, it's going to be between Wednesday and Thursday, where I will have that complete and ready to play for you, along with the documents and everything else, for the interrogation, the interview, the statements. I'll have it all. It was a process, but yeah. So I was hoping to do it this weekend. It didn't work that way. So Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be busting ass to get through all of it, because I have to go through it, obviously, and I want to share as much of it as I can, and I will share as much of it, if not all of it, if it's all available to be shown. So that it will be, and I will schedule it, like I said, Wednesday or Thursday. It's probably going to be closer to Thursday, depending on if it comes in tomorrow or Tuesday.
So crazy that it comes up with a story that, every day the daughter can be dropped off in a shed for men to have her, and like nobody knows it. Boys don't know it, nobody knows it. It just gets insane. But it feeds those who can't control their emotions, who also have the power.
By the way,
of
it's
YouTube
funny
if
that you
they
say it.
want.
We actually just talked about this the other day. We are still doing that. We're still going to do that podcast, and yeah, we will do it. We'll do another joint show.
Use it, and before
it'll be on the lab.
Know it, you've got guys threatening his life. We all know about all that. I mean, you have people twice in the same few sentences say they want to pull their 9mm and put it to his head. Who's guilty? Who's guilty? And I'm not saying Mr. McDonald is guilty for that.
Well, then what are you saying? Did he do that? Did he do that?
But I'm saying once it's ignited by someone of a professional status, us rookies especially those who suddenly have a little influence using a YouTube channel.
Like you or a Facebook page, the Find Summerwell's Facebook page.
They start inspiring but those of mental deficiency.
Like you?
Whoever they are, and I'm not saying the one with the 9mm was, I'm saying anybody, it inspires those kind of emotions in people. And it wreaks havoc.
Even that, I've never seen an owl be scared, or a hawk, or whatever the freak that thing is. I think it's a hawk wolf owl. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, that thing is terrified of him.
Absolutely havoc.
Is this a zoo? Is this what it's a zoo? The falcon?
Dangerous, it's horrible, and it causes more damage on more damage, and every time it would do it, yes, Don would get on to try to counter it, because he's sitting there trying to keep his sanity and not think about his daughter being abused, in some other guy's shed.
I'm trying to steer clear of discussing details of the case, but Jesus, my God. Holy crap. It gets, is there any self-awareness here? Is there any self-awareness in some other guy's shed?
And
you really, really have a way with words, and not a good way.
And it just spreads. And so then what do they do? Then they take what he says in his fits of response, and then they use that against him. And
oh, you mean well, he has said this before, or we're judging him by the words that come out of his mouth. You can't judge a man. You can't judge a man by the words that come out of his mouth, the things that he says. You have to judge a man by his actions. And unfortunately, when those actions and those words do match up, then you don't have much of a choice but to believe them. But as long as you only hear the words and don't see the actions, you can't believe a man like that.
And neither knows how to stop. They point their finger at Don all day long.
All day long.
All day long about him. But no, I'm sorry. They're on total equal ground, because they couldn't stop either. They had to feed it.
I think somewhere in there, like, he probably thinks not just Chris, but I think somehow I feel he's insinuating a little bit of me in there too. I know he doesn't like me. He's actually posted about me on the Find Summerwell's page before. Put my stuff up, told me I was totally discredited, totally this and totally that. Maximum totally.
Feed the entertainment like wolves.
Wolves.
Feed it. Feed the entertainment like wolves.
Feed the entertainment.
Gorgeous wolf.
That wolf doesn't want anything to do with you. Leave it alone. That's a gorgeous. Wolves are very pretty. Leave them wolves alone.
And I'm not saying they're wolves, but their behavior feeds that tendency of a pack. And doesn't take much studies you can read on the pack mentality. It's like a mob.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I find no reason why he wouldn't.
Rule spreads, and YouTube is one of the worst, because the restraint factors aren't in place fully yet. Most YouTube does is
never once.
Say a few initials and maybe you can get by with something.
Be into it though.
And they've got a few other restrictions, but there's not restrictions that need to be done of a much higher caliber. And I think we should all totally agree on that.
Maximum.
There should be no way that you can play somebody's private telephone call publicly on social media without their permission.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think. I don't know.
That's a no-brainer. You can fight it all day long till it's you or me. No, that ain't free speech. Free speech is the phone call. In Tennessee, we're allowed, as long as one person agrees to it being recording, which could be me, let's say I call you, then that's legal. I can do that. Just one person. I don't even have to tell you I'm doing it. But until social media came, that wasn't going to get blasted to the whole world. And phone calls are not the real person. We're talking to little machines when we're on the phone, and we'll say things, we'll respond in certain ways. We'll do lots of things that aren't the same as when we're in person.
Paula Walker says maybe that wolf will bite him in the ass. Thank you, Paula.
And Don. Don would do the YouTube. And that's really where we're trying to hold it at right now, is the great interviews of Chris McDonough, except for the shed, which, there's a Bible scripture, a little leaven, a little yeast. Leaven's the whole lump. Just takes a little. Well, the shed was the leaven. It destroyed the 2 wonderful loaves of bread.
Yeah, did it?
Those 2 interviews would have really been good.
I thought they were great. Yeah, back to the shed. That's right, Sylvia.
For Candace to welcome you into her home.
I'd be very worried about Tim. Background check. He definitely is a person to be. I know quite a bit about Tim, actually.
That was a woman welcoming you into her home, into her life, into her yard. You were a guest. She didn't know. If I'd known her then, I would have said, don't. Because this guy might be great, but if he puts it out there, others will tear it apart. People that don't understand the lifestyle of this area, people that don't understand why. They can see things with their eyes, but they don't understand why. And we'll always judge on our own convictions and blah, blah, blah. On it goes. I won't analyze that. So I saw that, and
I can't really tell you that much about it, but it's just stuff from him in high school and a little bit beyond. But it's just say he's weird.
Then I saw. Remember, I'm out in the woods cutting wood, and usually on this stuff. I found myself starting to get angry when I started to listen to others that Don was calling into, because I saw what they were
cuckoo
doing. Oh, it was so obvious. I didn't even know the man, but I saw it so clear. They were playing on his vulnerability. And since most would be women, they would essentially go into their mother mode and would just woo him right to him until he let down his guard.
If there was some kids out there like playing hide and go seek, and like they just saw this guy walking down this path, saying these things out loud, you would never go back to that park.
and he would try to open up and be honest, whether he was whiskeyed or not.
It was while Don was in jail.
And it was all bogus and fake. And that was just so clear.
I don't think he does either.
And that was so obvious and so clear. They were using him for entertainment.
Yeah, kind of like we're using you.
And everybody kept saying, we're doing this to help find Summer.
I'm doing this for my entertainment, but there are some very telling things.
Yeah. That'll be another topic.
Uh-oh.
They were using him.
Totally using the maximum.
And it was so clear. And unfortunately, quite a few of them just don't like law enforcement to start with. And that's what killed me too, because I have a huge respect for law enforcement.
It shows.
A billion miles past any of us and what they can do these days. The science is huge. The technology is huge.
Stay on the
experience is huge.
When was done exactly?
Not rookies just asking questions, thinking they're going to find the answer.
Well, I mean, you can't find an answer unless you ask a question. I mean, I've asked Don. He says, I don't know. I've asked Candace. She says, I don't know. That's the question. They just don't answer it. Neither of them know.
And that's not a bad word, rookies. It just means, good grief, put me on a ball field with a professional ball team. And yeah, I'm the rookie. Rookie. It's a office.
Rookie. The guy who makes squirrels just run away.
Office of inexperience. And there's no training for YouTube creators, how to be a YouTube creator. There's no psychological training on how they can affect people, sociological training on how they can affect people. It's just one big, gigantic learning curve party. But these are humans. Humans are the toy of the party. And I'm not saying there's not sincerity, but it's sincerity of a rookie. They don't know what they're doing. They do not know the damage. They do not know how they're.
I hope not. I hope he's
aggravating the situation. Especially somebody who's battled.
Yeah, I remember when Brandy reached out to me and told me about Tim reaching out to her, and I remember doing the show where I just absolutely went ballistic on him. And I remember he made like this public statement. It was all really stupid. It was one of like the first public statements that he made quite like that. But I was honored to do that, and I enjoyed it.
Anyway, in their life, you don't pound someone who's already has weaknesses, because you'll push them over the edge. And you think you're doing a service of some sort. Maybe it's just to your audience. Maybe in your mind, you actually think you're helping.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not really listening, because law enforcement tells you you're not helping. So there's really no way to wiggle out of it. What? Those who know best are telling you you're damaging it. You're damaging the case. And not only damaging the case, but you're pushing people to suicide.
Oh.
And then when people try to step in to help these people from losing their own life because of the attacks of unprofessional individuals don't have to be professional, just experienced with humans and kindness, consideration, not to mention, guilty until proven innocent, which isn't what it says. Yes, you're innocent until proven guilty, but there's people who are the ones that do that proof. And they're good at it. And
are they? That's good.
Yeah. Occasionally something good pops out of social media, investigators and YouTubers, but that literally would be the needle in the haystack. Very rare. So it's entertainment. And that's the industry. YouTube entertainment industry. News is entertainment industry. Dr. Phil is entertainment industry.
Oh yeah. It's great.
It's just how it works.
Loves Dr. Phil.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. That's just how it all works. It's based on advertising and money. And that's just how it works. So that's a reality. So, yes, Don especially was being used for entertainment purposes. Did it push him where he's at right now? Everybody will just have to decide that on their own.
All right.
I know the night of the DUI he was pushed.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Like I told one investigator, I don't put Jell-O on anything that...
Dude, I had no idea. He said, I thought I'd listened to this video before. Are you kidding me? He was pushed. What? He was, you little biatch. He did that to himself. I know exactly what he's talking about because he was on a panel that night that landed his ass in jail. And oh my God. You're a dick. That caught me out of nowhere, dude. Seriously, I was like, whoa.
Don decided to do on his own. Whether people knew about it or didn't know about it in his life during these many months.
Remember that, Sherry? Yeah. Yep.
But I know the night of the DUI he was pushed.
Mm.
I saw it.
He saw it. I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes. They pushed him. They pushed a man that was on the edge. He was drunk and showing his nipples. He even took a dump on a live one time. He was pushed to the toilet and he didn't even wipe. That's how distraught he was. He was smoking a cigarette on the crapper, and then he flicked it right out. He just flicked this cigarette in his house, his beautiful, illustrious home. He flicked that cigarette. He stood up and showed his twigs and berries to the entire Youtubian race.
I knew it. Because I knew him by then and I saw
what he doesn't know is that it's true. I sent Don a text message saying, "Hey Don, you should drink and drive. That way, can someone please tell me where he is at?" I don't know if you got your answer. I don't know where he is. But yeah, I text him. I say, "Hey Don, I hear you're nice and drunk, and I should encourage you to go drive somewhere." Well, clearly. Please, nobody is wanting. Oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
Bays Mountain Park.
I saw the setup. And to them, it was entertainment and ha-ha. And see, we kind of told you he was a no good guy. And to set up.
It was a setup.
And to them, it was entertainment and ha-ha. And see, we kind of told you he was a no good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, we bought him the bottle of alcohol. You little son of a gun. You little bastard. Blaming me and McDonald's and that other dude. Well, you can blame him. I don't give a shit about that, but nobody set anybody up. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I definitely heard that the next day. People were like, they pushed him to drink and drive. It's like, I didn't do shit.
I'm not sure the great judge will see it that way.
He must be talking about God.
Currently, there's always room for forgiveness. And then those things can be washed away. But it hadn't happened yet. So yeah, I will say that. Putting nothing else aside, not trying to make Don anything, some kind of saint. He won't even do that to himself. He knows better than that.
Does he?
But I will say this. He was pushed that night. He was pushed. He was tricked and he was pushed. And it was a pattern that would happen.
I'm really trying to figure that one out. I really don't get how we tricked him. We tricked him. We asked him if he wanted to come. I asked him if he wanted to come on the show, and he said yes. And it was actually kind of cordial, I think. Yeah, what happened was, I think we lost connection and then he took off in his truck and got arrested because he was drinking. Because I made him drink. And apparently I called a cop and I said, hey, you're going to need to lock this guy up.
And let me make it clear. I ain't putting Jello on any decision because he still made the decisions.
No, that's exactly what you're doing. You're absolutely putting Jello, whatever the hell that means, on. Yeah, he made the decisions. He drank, he drove. I didn't do anything. I didn't ask him to drink. I didn't tell him to drink. I didn't even know that he was drinking at the time. I mean, I kind of had an assumption that he was drinking. I mean, because he was awake. Yeah, the LE was probably watching the live, but even if that's true, even if all that's true, just say this. What if we're like, dude, this guy's hammered. Let's talk to him and let's see if we can get him to run out of cigarettes so he can go and buy some more. And we'll have a cop waiting for him on the side of the road that will pull him over with that with the R&R in his little pouch. If that actually did happen, he still did it. He still drove and drank and got pulled over and had a bottle in his car. You don't get tricked into doing that. You don't get tricked into drinking and driving. I'm going to get you so drunk that you're going to drive to the store. Right? Tim? I know that you're going to watch this probably 10 times and you're going to probably hit yourself with a skinny stick on the thighs while you're get mad about it. I dare him mock my art.
But the question is how much of those decisions were made because he was pushed.
He smokes cigarettes. He's a cigarette smoker. And it's commonly known that when people drink, they smoke more. And that's what he was doing. He ran out of cigarettes. He said it. I ran out of cigarettes. I didn't make him run out of cigarettes. I didn't go, hey, do we got a cigarette meter going on here? Can we find out? I didn't know what he had in his house. You dick. You are the worst. You're a lying little weasel rat bastard who is just, you act like Don's dad. I've never, ever, if my son was drinking and driving, I'd beat the shit out of him because it's wrong and it's dangerous. And I wouldn't say that he got tricked. My God. It's gonna be like a really creepy end, you know. He tricked him. I tricked him. We tricked him. All right. Well, he tricked him. Who cares? Whatever. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I've heard some really ridiculous things. All right, folks. Well, you know, we've come to the end. Thank God. Couldn't have happened soon enough. Sorry about that I made you go through that. And I think the next ones, we'll do it tomorrow. So somehow we've managed. We'll be on part 5 tomorrow. Part 5 and 6. I don't know if you really think I can't do another one. I don't think I can. Because this next one's like almost 30 minutes long. That's a long time. I don't know. Can I? No. I'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it live tomorrow. Oh, this one so the next one is the website. So we'll learn about the website. And then after that, let me see. Let me go to his dumb page real quick. Just hold on, folks. 1 second. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one, so in the next 2, they're both rather long too. That one's 30 minutes, one's 50 minutes. I'll try and bang out the 2 of them. The last 4 are all over 30 minutes. So God help us. Yeah. So anyway, tomorrow is the website and the meeting Candace Bly at the prayer vigil. Okay, so this is when he shows up to the vig. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Yeehaw. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Forget me not. Angelic Girl, member for 2 months. Thank you. Lulu, hey, Josh and Lab Rats listening and making lunches. You go, Mom. Timmy likes Mom. And thank you for your generosity tonight. It's very kind of you. And Kathy as well. Hey, Jude, we'll see you next time. We got through the McDonough stuff. I didn't hear I had never heard that last part. I thought I had listened to all of these. Brandy, take care. Good to see you. Yeehaw! You guys have a good night. Thank you. Don't panic. Good to see you. Tell your neighbors I said hi.